Hey, good afternoon there, Patriots, and welcome to our first live stream and podcast with The Difference. I'm Tim Labatsky, and I'm one of the founders of Patriot Owned Businesses. We're going to be coming to you live weekly, same time, same place, right here, to go over what Patriot Owned Businesses does, introduce you to Patriot Owned Businesses, and have our live guest on to come out and tell you how they got started being a Patriot owned business. And we'll do some roundtables. Uh, we're super excited about our first show. So bear with us a little bit. This is our very first one. We have a great guest for you here today. Many of you probably know him. And make sure you stay till the end because he's got a big surprise for us. What we're going to do through these shows to kind of give you an idea is we're going to have guests on each week. Some will be business owners. Some might not be, but they're big activists in the Patriot movement. And everybody knows there's a difference between a Patriot and a American. Kind of goes hand in hand, but there is a difference. Anyways, so we hope that you tune into us each week. We got some super exciting guests coming up, including the one that we have here for our very first one today. Things that we're going to kind of cover on this are going to be how they got started, what they decided to do, to become a business owner, and what they're doing to support their communities and what their future holds. We're going to do some roundtables also with other businesses that can help other businesses so we can all network together. We're going to tell you about upcoming events that Patriot Owned Business has coming up in the future and what we do as a whole, as a group. As many of you know, our biggest pull right now is off of Facebook. If you can go on there and make sure that you join us on Facebook, just look up Patriot Owned Businesses and you'll see this logo with the flag on it. That's our page. Some of the things that we do for you is we have networking. We have a map that you can put your business on. We have a now hiring section, and we also have a section for POB Gives Back, which we help out with charities and that in our local area and other states. So it's not just Texas. So we're excited that everybody's here watching this today. We're going to make sure that we keep this moving forward with everybody's help. That's what our expectations are for Patriot Owned Businesses, which is everybody that's watching, everybody that sees this, and everybody that joins us. And I'm very thankful for everything that everybody does. If you want to follow us on Facebook, again, it's Patriot Owned Businesses. Look for this logo, there it is, this logo. And also our website is patriotownedbusinesses.net. So let's go ahead and bring out our first guest for our exciting time here. It's Mr. Joel Medina. How are you, sir?
Very well, sir. Very well. Congratulations on your new podcast. Love being the first guy. There's a lot of firsts that we share together, Tim. We go back a long way. So hopefully we'll talk about it today.
Yes, we do. We've give everybody some background before we brought him out with this. Should have been some fireworks out there.
There was. You missed it. It was just went off.
I did. I know it. That's the first podcast. What do you expect? Me and Joel have been friends for quite a while now. Believe it or not, us where we've became and what me and Joel have become, as far as I consider him a brother, his whole family is part of my family, has been because of Patriot activities. Not necessarily Patriot owned businesses. He's been a huge supporter of our group. And if you guys have ever been to any of our events, which we had 5 or 6 of them last year, you would definitely see this gentleman because he opened every one of them, which that's part of the surprise. He's going to have a little entertainment for us at the end of the show. So don't leave. You have to stay and watch it. And I don't know why I'm pointing that pen at you. Anyways, again, it's Joel Medina. He is a business owner. And what's the name of your business, Joel? And
So my company's name is H2 Systems Inc. A lot of people get it mixed up with H2O, but the reason why it's H2 Systems Incorporated, the name comes from my first two born, which were Haley and Hayden. So that's the H2. And the ink comes from the divorce so that my wife didn't come and take anything that I had as far as my company. So it kept her far enough away from it that I never had an issue with that. So it was my kids. And then, the systems obviously has to do with technology. So it is in telecommunications. And we do a lot of low voltage cabling, fiber optics, splicing, installation, design, build, network closets, data centers, sound masking. We touch on AV a little bit, but it's not our specialty. But TVs, mounting TVs, cameras, stuff like that. So it's been going on since about 2008. Started it by myself, not having a clue of what to do, how to assume a name, sales tax ID, EIN numbers. I knew nothing. It was just something that I had to learn. So, life goes on. You figure out things and you move on. So that's what it is. H2systemsinc.com. You can go look at it. Some pictures of our work on there. It's just something that I found near and dear to my heart. I enjoy it, love it.
So you've been doing this since 2008?
Yes, sir. Yep. Then I started, like I said, by myself. Soon after, probably about 2 years after that, I met my project manager, which is amazing, and I've literally been able to duplicate myself, which is difficult to do nowadays in the workforce. But he's a great gentleman, and he's a great Christian man, and I mean, we've never had any issues. We both respect each other highly. He sends me Bible verses all the time, and he hears things that I'm going through. So, what a great relationship to have, in a business environment too. So,
and what did you do before you started this? What were you doing before this?
I worked for other companies for 16 years before I started my own company in 2008.
And there was it multiple companies, kind of the same idea?
Yeah. I switched them out every once in a while, because somebody would get a wild hair up there, and they would act like they were better than me, or they would raise their voice at me, and I'd just walk out and just go find a job the next day, because I never allowed somebody to demean me or talk down to me, because I was the reason why their company was doing well. I trained. I was in positions where I ordered parts, estimated, project management, and the one thing that people fail to forget is these companies need good people, and I knew where I stood. So if I left, I knew that I could pick up the phone and find a job the next day because of my skill set and what I knew and my communication skills, because they're needed in this field. And sometimes telecommunications people, or this job of a cable puller, is frowned upon, because you do have a lot of people who are, they show up to work drunk, or they smell like pot or something like that. So it's real hard to find really good people in this field. So those people made me look good. So
is that kind of what you did to start your own business? Is that kind of what got you in the mindset to start doing it on your own?
When I finally said I've had enough, I capped out at $18 an hour, which in that field you can make up to 32 or whatever, 35 as a project manager. But the company that I was working for, which was they were doing things the wrong way. They weren't giving me insurance. I was a full-time employee. There was no insurance, but the brother of the company got the insurance in the van and the card, who was basically, I would do something or say something, he'd get on the phone and run back, call his brother and say, hey, this is my idea. And I could hear him in the other room. And then I think the one thing that finally did it for me was they brought me into the office for an office job. And of course I asked for my field job. If this, I want my field job back if this doesn't work out. But when they created this spot inside for me in-house, they were putting out estimates and invoices that were like, they had a little note at the bottom of it. And at the bottom, it had a DB money in there, and it was like $10,000. And, the customer didn't see this internal, documentation. But I asked one day, I was like, hey, what is this right here, this DB money? And he said, it's, it was his name. It was his initials for his name, which was the owner of the company. So like, that's just for me. And I was put aside, and I was like, wait a minute, you just, like, this is a $30,000 estimate before your $10,000. So now it's 40 grand, and 10 of it's just for you. He said, yeah, pretty cool, huh? And that made me mad. Like, it angered me inside to the point where my blood started boiling, and I thought to myself, how disrespectful and what a jackass to be doing this to somebody without their even knowing they need this product for their business environment to work, and they count on you and trust you to implement it, but you're taking advantage of them at the same time. So that year, it was 2007, about 3 months before the end of the year, and I was like, that's it. I'm done. I put in my resignation with them. I told them I was going to be leaving in January 1st, 2008. And if they wanted me back, it wasn't going to be $18 an hour. It was going to be $25 an hour. And January 1st came. I quit in December 2007. And the very next day, they hired me back to come and finish a job for them for $25 an hour. So I had to quit and start my own company to get a raise with these people. And I was with them for 10 years. So
Wow.
it just made me mad. So I figured I could do it. I could do it better. I was already doing it for them, but the leap of faith was the hardest thing. It was just counting on the fact that I didn't have the business. I didn't know it was going to come from, and it's weird because when I quit them, I still relied on them for business, but I had to draw the line in the sand, if you would.
So there's a big difference between working for somebody, which it sounds like you worked for some very interesting individuals, and then making that jump, to doing it on your own, kind of running at it blind from the start. Even though you're very experienced in what you do,
Mhm.
you're taking that leap of faith, which luckily us being Americans, patriotic Americans, we have the ability that we can do that.
That's right. Amen
Where
for
you
that.
can make that leap and just say, "Hey, I'm going to go for it." I have faith in myself, and I'm not going to do what some of these other companies I work for, which is great. I mean, it's sad that a lot of people have to deal with bad bosses and bad corporations and bad businesses, but it goes down to the fact that that gives you fuel
That's right.
to do what you're doing now to further your business and your family, which again, I know you very personally, and this is probably going to be something I'll ask most of our guests, but at your level, which is different than big corporations, which hey, they've done the same thing, did the American dream. Your employees, that if it's not for you, they're in trouble.
That's right.
It's even more weight on your shoulders as a business owner, to not just protect your family, you're protecting the families of your employees, which
Yep.
is very, very close to my heart when I hear stuff like that. Because you don't hear that from other larger corporations that probably don't believe in the same thing that we do.
Well, it's money. It's numbers for them. It's a little closer here. It's not a numbers thing. It's a family thing. And one of the things I've gone over with Victor many times, he's like, "Hey, do you know, we're kind of slow right now. Should we take this job on? It's not really the client's requesting it at this rate. They have this number allotted because they've done the numbers and they ran the finances, and they can only, And every time I'll tell them, as long as our guys are busy and our guys are getting paychecks, I don't care about the profit. I'm not going to become rich off of this. I don't plan on it. If it happens, it's because we landed some great, huge jobs. We have a bid in for the Sapphire Bay project, the apartments that are over there coming up in over there in Rowlett off Dalrock. But still, that job's. I mean, that the money comes and it goes, and as long as they're getting paychecks and they can take paychecks home to their family, my bills are paid. That's all I really care about. And no one's calling me for bills or for money or for payment. That's all we care about. All of our vendors are taken care of. 5 guys that we have on staff are constantly working. They constantly getting paid. And there's times, during the pandemic when the hours weren't there, but I still paid them. You know, if we had no hours, it was 20 hours. If they worked 20 hours, I'd give them 30 hours just to help out because I know how important it is to have that paycheck because I was that one that was shut out and not paid what I was, what I deserved. So I get it. And I all this goes through my head, things that they taught me not to do. I make sure that my technicians are taken care of. So it starts with the techs. The people who are out on the field making you that money deserve all the respect because your business would not exist if it wasn't for the people on site talking to your customers and actually laying that cable in place. So, I mean, it's
Yeah,
the heart. That's where I come from. So,
and that's good you brought that up, because in our next segment, we'll be coming up on a break here in a minute, but in our next segment, that's kind of what I want to touch base on is, all these small businesses were affected by what we went through, which is kind of why Patriot-owned businesses was even born. Um, but it affects all of us.
yep.
And it affects businesses like yours and other small businesses more than it does big corporations.
Mhm.
But we'll definitely hit on that and kind of push through on a couple of those questions, a little bit harder hitting questions, I guess, to show everybody that's watching or does watch this that this is real. This is not something that's going to stop right now. The our 2020 portion was short lived, and we'll talk about that here in about the next couple of minutes. But here in about a few seconds, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll see you guys in the second section here.
The difference is made possible by the following small businesses: Real Property Management Focus, the choice to make when you want to feel confident and secure in knowing that your investment is earning the profit it deserves. The Financial Point, your go-to spot for all things finance. Platinum Eagle Insurance, providing the widest range of insurance options to make insurance easy and seamless. WeatherTech General Contracting, we make your home renovation dreams a reality. Lender's Choice Credit Solutions, utilizing our attorney-backed processes and only charging clients if and when results are obtained. This is how we have made the difference for over 10,000 clients and counting. And by Power on Utilities Concierge, your one-stop shop for all of your home's essential services.
Break right there.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
So kind of what we touched base on there in the first section of it. We want to dive into that a little bit. And again, we want to make sure we tell everybody, don't leave, because in our coming up before the end of the show, Joel's got a big surprise for everybody. Hey, what's that in your hand?
It's those fiddles you pick.
So going back to what we ended on in the first portion of the show, being a business owner, which you've been in business for quite a while now, since 2008. What is probably the worst section or the worst time you've had as a business owner where it kind of made you step back for a minute and go, did I do the right thing?
It was in the first 6 months, probably first 3 years, from about 6 months to 3 years, because you don't know where your business is coming from. You don't have. I think there were two people that I took the step out on that liked who I was. That I never said, "Hey, call me," instead of them. I just said, when I'm leaving this, just know that you'll have to contact the office and talk with Rick, this person, and moving, after 2008. And I've always had the mindset to never approach somebody else's business. I mean, even at a younger age with another company, the guy, when I left, said, "Please don't take my business." And I'm like 19 years old, thinking, "What are you talking about? How could I take your business?" But I think he saw something in me that it was possible, and I didn't see that at that point until I got older. But I made it a conscious effort to never leave someplace and have my card laying there or anything, because I never wanted that on my conscience that I took business from somebody, because I know how important it is. But when you're asked, "Where are you going?" that question you have to answer. Well, now that you asked, I'm just telling you, I'm starting my own business because I'm just tired of working for somebody else. Well, there were two people who really, I mean, every client I had a great rapport with. We laughed, we joked. If they were angry when I showed up, they were happy when I left, and it just carried on. So that first 6 months, I started thinking, "Oh, is this really going to happen?" My it's getting tight. I have to really be careful. I mean, there were times that I ate tuna for a week straight, waiting on a check, and then when the check got here, I'd act like I had money, and then that check would be gone. And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I think I messed up. I should have held on to this." And, so there's a lot of getting used to, there's an hourly check that you get every week, and then you get these lump sums of $13,000 to $18,000, and you think, man, I've got all this money. I've never had this before. What do I do with it? And then you have to learn your lessons too. So the first year was kind of tough. The first 3 years were, discipline. Where's it coming from next? Well, you know that you don't have a job set up, so you have to hold on to it. So all those things started happening. And my dad told me something very important. He said, son, if your business can last 5 years on its own and you can actually take care of it for 5 years, after those 5 years, it takes off on its own and it does its own thing. And he was absolutely 100% right. So before he passed, the words that he told me were extremely important. And they stuck with me is, you did it. Because it was after that 5 year mark. He said, you did it. You've done it, son. And I think he saw, because I talk about all the jobs. So those first 3 years were by far probably the toughest, because it's just, you're uncertain. You don't know where it's coming from.
And and that's funny that he said that. That's been a lot of people that I've talked to have said that if you can make it past the first 2, 3, 4, 5 years, then you're good, which I'm sure, maybe before you started your business, you were working 40, 45, maybe 50 hours, and then you started your business and it went
I
to
wasn't,
80
I
or
wasn't,
100 hours a week.
I wasn't, and the sad thing is that company wasn't paying me, uh, they weren't paying for insurance, which they had to, or no, it wasn't insurance. They weren't paying me overtime, and there was no insurance. So the insurance as an employee you have to have. That's known. But if I worked overtime, even as an employee for 10 years, they never paid me 1 hour of overtime, which is time and a half. So I mean, you take it in the gut because you're providing for your family. I had 2 kids at home. I was a stay-at-home wife at that time. So it's like, what do you do? They knew I needed it, so they took advantage of me. So those are all things that stuck right here, you know.
Yeah.
So
Now, with the issues that we've all had to kind of go through, which I'm a firm believer of, there's a silver lining behind every dark cloud.
mhm,
2020 was devastating to a lot of people. But with that, 2020 has brought out Patriot owned businesses and has brought out a lot of people that are now standing up and fighting for what they believe in.
that's right.
When we hit that portion of 2020, how did that affect, your usual business since you've been in it for so long? I know you track that. How
Mhm.
did that affect, your normal day to day operations, or did it even affect your business at all?
Okay, so we were considered essential because all the essential people had to go continue work. But the people that were not essential still affected our work because we have shipment of cabinets that are not our trade. But if we walked into a shell and they're just putting up the beams for the sheetrock, all that material has to be shipped in. So after the sheetrock goes up and the ceiling tiles have to come in from somewhere, the cabinets have to come in. The finish, all the trays that finish everything out have to be shipped in. So a job that should have taken us 2 weeks is taking us a month and a half, which means you don't get paid for that other part of that because we do a 50% up front. But the other part of that doesn't get paid until the project's done. So it wasn't. We kept moving, astonishing, amazing, but we kept moving, and there was very minimal downtime. But a lot of the stuff that we struggled with was other trades and being able to complete our job to get paid on that job. So
Kind of, kind of what you just brought up too is a good thing we could probably do a whole show on that a lot of people don't understand is even if whatever your business is, which we're seeing a big effect of that now, is it's not just you that's on this job. As an example with the line of work that you're in,
mhm,
there's other components that have to make that wheel turn.
yep,
If they get a delay, that puts you into a delay, and it puts the next person into a delay.
yep,
Which the unfortunate is 2020 led into 2021 with different issues, which is leading exactly into 2022.
mhm,
Um, Workforce shortages. Now you can't get products, and I completely understand where you're coming from. Myself, working in the construction industry, can't find drywall.
mhm,
Well, that's ridiculous. That because of this, all the shortages doesn't just affect me. it affects every business and every person around me, and they're struggling. I mean, even restaurants that used to be open 6, 7 days a week are only open 4 or 5 days a week and from noon to 7 because they can't get anybody to work, or they know they're going to run out of product.
That's right.
Which, that's like that little tiny snowball, which was the beginning of 2020. Now it's just rolling down the hill, and that snowball just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Headed straight to hell.
Yeah, which, and the next question I do have for you is, which we've asked many people, and you understand what Patriot-owned businesses is.
Mm-hmm.
Our biggest question is, when somebody says, what is Patriot-owned businesses? Well, do you believe in your conservative values, your family, and the Constitution of the United States? Simple.
Yep.
At no point in that conversation have I ever asked, do you believe in mandates? Or do you believe in the mask, or you believe in the vaccination? Which, if you want to take the vaccination, you want to wear a mask, you want to shut people out of your business for whatever reason, that is on you. You do you. That's the blessing that God gave us for being American citizens.
Right.
You can do what you want. You, as a business owner, was there any point where you ever constituted a mandate for masks or vaccinations?
Not even for a second, Tim. That's not something that, because of my freedoms, my constitutional right, I would never understand the Constitution and force my opinions on somebody else. I would have never, as a matter of fact, we were getting involved with government contracts, and something told me, back out. I paid $5,000 to get on these federal business opportunities, but I stopped it because of the mandates. I let it go. That's a write-off for me at the end of the year, but that's $5,000 that came out of my account just to get it set up. And I dropped it because I wasn't for 1 second going to tell anybody, especially somebody who worked for me, you have to wear a mask or you have to have a shot. We are anti-shot, anti-mask, 100% freedom, 100% Constitution. And we will not ever, by any means, tell somebody to do something that I wouldn't do myself.
And that's, and that shows true faith in, patriotism and the American dream, which we're living, you're living.
Right.
Even though, adversities that we've had to face, 2020, even other things besides that, that's just, a good way to show you always have to rise above that. And you've done that.
Absolutely.
And again, I applaud you for everything you've done. It's been an amazing journey, even knowing you. And I mean, we could sit here and talk for hours, of stuff that we've done, things we've been excited about. Mm-hmm. I think what we're going to do is, here in just a little bit, we're going to, take another little break. When we come back, I want to know what the future holds for Joel Medina.
Okay.
I'm excited about the surprise that we have coming up that you're going to entertain us with.
Yep.
And also to do our little 6 questions of instantaneous, we'll say that, to see how you can fly on the wheel.
Let's go. I need it.
So we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, and we'll see you soon.
The difference is made possible by the following small businesses: Real Property Management Focus, the choice to make when you want to feel confident and secure in knowing that your investment is earning the profit it deserves. The Financial Point, your go-to spot for all things finance. Platinum Eagle Insurance, providing the widest range of insurance options to make insurance easy and seamless. WeatherTech General Contracting, we make your home renovation dreams a reality. Lender's Choice Credit Solutions, utilizing our attorney-backed processes and only charging clients if and when results are obtained. This is how we have made the difference for over 10,000 clients and counting. And by Power on Utilities Concierge, your one-stop shop for all of your home's essential services.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Patriot Owned Business Podcast and live stream. We're here live with Joel Medina, a proud member of Patriot Owned Businesses. If you've been watching, we got some exciting stuff coming up here at the end. But we want to dive back in here real quick. And we went through what Joel's doing and his business and everything. And I'll ask you one more question about that. Then I have a couple of future questions to ask you. But through your business, kind of referring back a little bit to Patriot-owned businesses, and I know that some don't utilize as much, but over the years, what have you seen that you've done that has helped you expand your business? What you've used.
Um, we've never advertised, which is odd. And we have clients like Tuesday Morning, the We Buy Ugly Homes, Little Caveman, Climbing's Evangelist, the Eye Care Center. We've done work for all these people and have never advertised once. It's just making sure that I do my job 100%. And if it requires me to go in and do a couple of things and add a couple of things just to make clients understand, whether like at the end of the job, I'll go in and put LED lights in their closet to make it look spacey. Like you walk in, you see these LEDs lighting up the background. That's just stuff people don't do. And I don't charge them for that because it's a thank you for your business. And I'll hit on this again later, but it's going outside of your job description to reach out and make sure people understand that you appreciate their business or them as a person or them as a business. So we've never advertised. It's just been word of mouth. And I've always done my job 100%. I take a lot of pride in everything that I do, and everybody that I've trained to take my place out on the field has been trained by me, and they understand my thoughts, how I feel, what I would do to react, the customer communication. If somebody walks by you, get off your ladder, stand aside. It's their office. It's their space. Make sure there's nothing on the floor. Make sure there's no trash when you walk away from that ladder and you take your ladder somewhere else. There's nothing on the floor. It's just, there's a lot of business etiquette and respect and pride. So I mean, it's just a lot of pride, I think.
And I agree with you 100%. You definitely have a lot of pride, and that's probably one of the best is word of mouth.
Yeah.
You always see people downgrading people on, social media, and this better than anybody is if 10% of happy people will let you know they're happy when 90% of people that are upset will blast it to let you know they're upset. Even if they don't give you an option to fix it, which if you're striding from the start, there's no reason why you'd even have that.
That's right. One time. Do it one time right, you don't have to go back.
Yep. And like I said, I've known you for quite a while now, and where you've started and what you're doing. What do you see as far as the future goes for Mr. Joel Medina?
My wife asked me the same thing. And the best thing I can say, Tim, is that wherever God takes me, I'm going to show up. If it's another state, I'll fly out on my own dime to go where I need to be. And I've told you this from day one, too. It doesn't matter if we're down to Port Aransas rewriting songs or we're in McKinney, Texas, or Fort Worth, Texas. As long as I see conservative, Republican, Patriots stepping up, I will always be there. I will always be on call. Just call me. I'll show up with my equipment, with myself. If there's something I can do to help, volunteer. It's just, we have to back the people that we represent, and that's conservatism, Republican, Patriot, Constitutionalist, Bible-loving Americans. So as far as what I'm going to do, since those boat parades that kind of put us on the map with the GOP, I'm actually reading through the 160 pages of documentation to turn my paper in to run for mayor of Rowlett here in my city. So they say start in your own city, and I voted for the first time in 2020. Learned a lot since then. 2 years is a long time to learn tons of information. Started going to city council meetings, watching them online. If I can't be there, I'm watching them, through their Facebook sites or their websites, and just learning and listening and trying to understand the process. There's still a lot to learn, I've been told. I get it. I understand that. But I don't think everybody who walks into that mayor seat or city council seat has knowledge of every little intricate thing throughout their city. So that's my next step, is running for mayor. I've got my signs. I got to show you something. Check this out. Bam.
Wow, it's official.
It is. I even got some.
That means it's real.
Yeah, so it's I'm financing it on my own. There'll be donation requests later on, but that's after the city says, "Hey, yes, everybody's been accepted to run for mayor. All your paperwork's in." I get a letter from them. February 18th is the final day. It's the opening day was yesterday. People are in line turning in their paperwork. It's a bunch of city council people that I met that are awesome people. So that's my next step, mayor, and then after that, it's not my. I'm not worried about it because God has me, and He's leading me and I'm following his path, and whatever he brings, I'm just going to follow and just follow up, make sure he's going to bring me to the door and put my hand on the door. And then my responsibility is to open it and walk through it. After that, it's on me. So that's what I'll continue doing.
And that's awesome. Great to hear. I mean, I've known you've been planning on this for a while, and it's a thing that gives everybody that spark.
I hope so.
Everybody can be a patriot, but there has to be something that gives you that spark, which everybody knows a spark will turn into a fire.
Yes, sir.
Boat parades, supporting patriot-owned businesses was that spark. Now your fire is your drive to become mayor of the city you live in.
And even these people who are doubting me, I mean, I got Facebook messages that are, you don't know anything about a city. It's I can't believe you would do something like this. You're telling me that I'm a liability to the city, and I'm like, okay, well, these people who have been on committees and boards are the same people that are running for mayor, but they're still talking about replacing with new people. But you can't be involved and say you need new leadership because you are the leadership that you're talking about. So it's confusing to me. There's people that are coming back into the mayoral position, and it's like it's like this circle of people who know each other, and I'm not sure they're going to like somebody who doesn't know anybody walking in the door and sitting down day one trying to make sure that everything's going right and people are doing their jobs right. So,
Right.
and I think that's going to be the shocker. And above even being the mayor, Tim, it's getting people active, getting people to show up, to understand their city, understand the processes, understand their voices count and matter. If you don't show up, you really don't have a lot to say. But if you're there active, then your voice is louder than the city council members because you voted them in, and your voice matters. I've seen a lot of change in my city just over the last year on different topics. I mean, we organized and there was a 68 vote difference, and we actually beat Rowlett City on a Proposition B, a pay raise, and their extended term limits by 68 votes, which has never been done in Rowlett. So, I mean, that tells you organizing, showing up really makes a difference. By 68 votes, I mean, that's huge.
Well, get out there and vote.
That's what it is. Get out there and vote, show up.
They can, and of course, everybody sees your website scrolling across the bottom there, and they can also follow you on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your, I guess you're becoming a pretty big deal on a couple other social medias. Is TikTok one of those?
Actually, yeah, TikTok. I started when I was shut down from Facebook. Right now, I was shut down for 30 days and started TikTok because somebody said, "Hey, man, they love you on TikTok. They don't, they don't censor you as much." And me and my daughter recorded a song that I rewrote for you and Shannon when we went down to Port Aransas. And once I posted that first video, it wound up with like 226,000 views, and then they shut it down 2 weeks later. Like in 2 weeks, I had 226,000 views. And some of these pictures are going to change. I'm putting some stuff up there, just kind of let people know who I am. There's still a lot of work I need to do on it, but we actually released this this last night. So there's still some things I need to do, like actually get a professional picture put in there. But I mean, to me, I don't want to do the typical thing, man. I mean, this is that the picture has, sentimental value to me. That picture, I was on a Disney cruise with my family, and I took all 4 of my kids and just me as the parent. So it was just me and all 4 of my kids on 9 days of this amazing trip on a Disney cruise, which I'll never ever forget. So, all these things have meaning to me, and I think that this stereotypical tie and, it's
Right.
overrated. It's overrated. We need people that are real. I'm just a normal person in my city that just sees that maybe I have a platform now that people are listening to that I can make a change and make a difference. So,
Well, we're definitely super excited to see how that goes. You got the backing. If you want to do anything out there, we're more than happy to do it.
Yeah.
And now we're getting close to the end of the show. So what I want to do is I got 6 questions I'm going to ask you.
Go for it.
And you gotta snap on them.
Okay.
All right. So question number 1 is, when I was a child, I wanted to grow up and be a
musician.
Good answer. Living or dead, I would have dinner with
Elvis.
That's a good one too. I like that. See, I like the off the cuff thing. This is great.
This is good.
My best Halloween costume was.
I never really dressed up for Halloween. Never did. My childhood was horrible. I swear I never did. I never got into the thing. My parents were always gone, and I didn't have that childhood that most people have, so I didn't get to. It wasn't something I did. It's sad, but it's true.
That's all right. I hate it. It's all good.
We're not supposed to cry right now. No.
Right. One thing I would change in my life would be
my past.
We'll leave it at that. My favorite movie ever is
oddly, it's a Patrick Swayze movie. What's the name of that? Dirty Dancing?
Yes. Oh, good one. I've never seen it, but no.
It's a great movie, man. I think it's because my wife. I think it's because my wife likes it so much.
And my last meal would be
ribeye steak.
See, that's 99% of those questions. You're an all-American Patriot.
That's me. I passed. Yay!
Come on. So now, without further ado, and even if we got a couple minutes left, we can fill it, but I want to make sure this part gets in, and I want everybody to enjoy a little ditty, if you say, from Joel Medina. And make sure that you follow him on Facebook, all his social media, make a copy of his website, and any questions you ever have for him, give him a call. And if you do use his services, obviously make sure to tell him that you're a member of, there it is, wherever it's at, Patriot-owned businesses, baby. So, Joel, I'll leave it up to you. Take it away, bro.
Real quick, this is a background story. Tim invited me to go down to Port Aransas for a Trump rally, and it was on the beach. And I have this PA equipment from being a musician that was just sitting inside and sitting idle. So we hauled it down there in the rain, mind you, and we set up on the beach. That evening, we went back to a small location where there were some chairs, and we all kind of gathered around. Well, I did this song, and it's a song by George Strait called "You Look So Good in Love." Well, there's a talking part of that, and in the talking part, I kind of ad-libbed and said Biden and Kamala would look so good in jail. I do my own research now. I didn't do that before, so it made everybody laugh. And I went back and listened to it, and it was like I heard everybody laughing multiple times and then singing along. And I've been a musician for a long time, and I've never had, if you would, class participation on a song. So I invited Tim over one day, and my daughter sings with me. Her name's Haley. She's amazing. She sings harmonies beautifully, and I rewrote the song completely. And I asked Tim and Shannon to come over for dinner, and we cooked them dinner, and I told them I wanted to play the song. So we sat in front of some pictures in the background. And if you go to any web browser and just type in Biden would look so good in jail, you'll actually see the YouTube or wherever it's at. It's people have done different things with it and put it on their websites and actually made websites that have just this video on YouTube, and people have duetted it on TikTok. It's been amazing. I think it probably has about 500,000 views, but there were 2 Facebook sites that together wound up with almost 3.5 million views. So it took off, great response. But here's the song. It's called "Biden Would Look So Good in Jail." Oh, how this country has gone straight to hell. Since Joe and Kamala sat at the helm, he must do something other presidents didn't do. He's embarrassing this country and cheated me and you. Biden looks so good in jail. He and Kamala can go straight to hell. Biden looks so good in jail. He and Kamala can go straight to hell. He must have hired some help from abroad to ship in those ballots to accomplish his fraud. The GOP did nothing that I wouldn't do. Grassroots are doing what they could not do. Biden looks so good in jail. He and Kamala can go straight to hell. Biden looks so good in jail. He and Kamala can go straight to hell. Darling, I've wasted a lot of years not doing my own research. But tonight, that's all I do. And I never took the time to let you know. So before they take him away, please let me say, Biden looks so good in jail. He and Kamala can go straight to hell. Biden looks so good in jail. He and Kamala can go straight to hell. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate you. I wonder how many people out there clapping like you, man. It's funny.
Well, it's funny because actually I just heard Shannon in the other room go, woohoo!
That was for you guys, dude. That's what started the whole thing, man, was that trip down to Port Aransas.
Man, it's awesome on what we've seen, things take off and, the expansion of Patriot-owned businesses, the expansion of your Patriot movement of Texas, you running for, Mayor Rowlett.
Crazy.
Just the tight-knit companionship that we've all grown, with each other, that we are coming out of the woodwork. Kind of, again, going back to that spark.
Yep.
POB started with the huge encouragement of Shannon and others, her father, that I denied, I'm not voting, kind of like you, 2018 was the first time I voted.
Right.
They offered to, hey,
we're both first-time voters. We are both first-time voters in 2020. That's freaking amazing, dude. And look
at us now.
Boy.
That's her dad and Shannon built that spark.
Yeah.
Which obviously has turned into a raging bonfire.
Yeah. And Katie started that spark here. She's the one that posted that first post on those boat parades. She asked for 40 to 50 boats and 750 boats showed up. 4,800 people. It hit the news. The news people came out to interview us and we told them, go away. We already know. We weren't political.
Yeah.
We are now.
That just shows you that, we have that spark and we have that drive. Well, we know that there's, thousands and millions of Patriots out there that believe and want to believe in the same thing that we believe in. They're just, I wouldn't really say scared, but they just don't want to
put their names out there.
Let that spark go.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying that you have to start a Facebook group or run for mayor of your town, but get out, register to vote.
Yeah.
Vote for what you truly believe in. Don't listen to other people.
That's right.
That's, again, being an American. I'm free. I can vote for whoever I want to.
Yep.
That's up to me. I can elect whoever I want to or attempt to elect because, again, as 99% of American patriots believe in, any public office or official or government entity works for us.
Right.
Us.
That's right.
We pay their salaries.
That's right. We elect them
They
in.
just don't listen to us anymore.
Yeah, they don't. There's a disconnect. So, on that perfect point, my whole slogan for Rowlett is reconnecting Rowlett, because there is a huge disconnect and there's a lot of questions. We have questions about our police department not having a good morale with one of the judges in town. There was a letter released recently. You know, we've got LGBTQ proclamations given out, you know, and as Christians and people who believe in the Bible, these are things that, you know, our city shouldn't even be involved with. Like these are things that, you know, people are allowed to have and believe what they want, do what they want, but don't allow the city to be involved with private matters like that, especially what happens in somebody's bedroom. I mean, it throws me off. So these are the things I started seeing, which made me start getting more active. So you're right, man, 100%.
And that's the best. I mean, even us doing this, and that's the reason for this, is to support you and other patriots.
Yes, sir.
And that's the reason what Patriot-owned businesses is for. We encourage everybody to get out, see us. Joel's been to every one of our events, and he can back me up 100% on this, that every event we've had, no matter what size it was, there's always been people there we've never seen before.
That's right.
They're like, this is awesome. There actually is Patriots out there. So don't let mainstream media and other people influence you on who you think you are, or, you know, what life should be. You have control of you. You keep control of you. Don't give it to somebody else.
That's right. Exercise your rights.
Will.
That's right.
You know what? If and anything in closing, which I know we've only got a few minutes left, but anything in closing, you know, what would you like to say? I'll give you the board here for a couple minutes.
All right. So what's been kind of heavy on my mind is, you know, people do point out lack of knowledge, not knowing the fundamentals. I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm not a politician. I haven't invested years and years of my life, you know, trying to figure out what happened, who the city lawyer is, what they do, what their positions are. But the one thing I do know is how to delegate. I know when people are good at what they do, you allow them to do that job. You don't overstep your boundaries. There are people who will, if I ask for advice, or if I need to talk to the city attorney or city judge or somebody about a certain matter, they're gonna tell me what I need to do. They're gonna tell me, hey, you need to do this. If I'm asked questions about city taxes, I'm not a tax guy. I don't do taxes. There is a person who does taxes for the city. I'm going to go sit and talk to that person and get to know them for who they are, what they stand for, what their jobs are. And if I was a concerned citizen, what questions do they accept? These are all things that people learn. You don't walk into a new job unless you went to college for that specific job, then it trains you for it, which I didn't go to college to be a mayor or a city council member or a arts and humanity volunteer. These are all things that you just do to get involved. And shame on the people that are out there trying to demean somebody for stepping up in their community with knowledge or without knowledge. If you volunteered, great. I'm not volunteering. I'm giving up my life to become something that I'm not. I'm giving up and taking that leap of faith into something that I'm not used to because I don't like what I see. And not only do I not like what I see, there's a lot of people that feel like I do, like you said, that don't speak up, that do not like what they see. So reconnecting Rowlett is my mission. Getting people active is my mission. Getting people involved is my mission. Getting people out of their comfort zone, which you learn so much outside of your comfort zone, which is where I'm going. That's what I want people to do. So above all, get out, be active, ask questions, go against the grain a little bit when it makes you feel uncomfortable because you figure things out and you learn. If I didn't do what I did, I would not have the business that I have. So I'm taking what I've learned in life up to this point, and I'm just going and putting into something that doesn't have to do with just me anymore. It has to do with the citizens of Rowlett, the majority who feel the way I feel, who understand that something needs to change because what's been going on and what's been happening for the past, I don't know, 2 years that I've seen, and people have been involved way longer than I have, 20, 30 years in Rowlett. And they also see problems and issues. citizens that are business owners have issues with the city, that the city doesn't answer emails or phone calls, or they give you a phone call, tell you to do something, but don't want to put it in writing. These are all issues. When's the last time a mayor walked up and knocked on your door because there's a building that's going to be built next to you and says, hey, we'd like to see you at our city council meeting? They don't do that because it's not within their job description. But how cool would it be to have the mayor knock on your door, the whole housing development, and say, hey, we need you at the city council meeting. If you're not home, leave a note. Mayor, city council members, people who are supposed to be involved, leave a note, personal note that says, I need to talk to you. Doesn't happen. So these are the things that I would love to be a part of. I'd love to do is reconnect the citizens to the city council members that they elect. So anyway, before I start getting emotional and all, bro, I'm charged, bro. I'm telling you, I'm charged. But these are the things that I see, just being active for the little time that I've been active. So get out, go to city council meetings, go to P&Z meetings, go to sessions if you can, sit in, watch them online. They're not that long. Some of them do go kind of long, and obviously you can't watch them all. Some of them are short. Listen to the citizens' input. Go learn how to put your own input in. Fill out the little piece of paper that says, hey, my name is so-and-so. Here's my address. I'm speaking either on the agenda or the citizens' input. There's two different ones. You can speak at each one or both or either one. Your input matters. Your vote matters. Get out and educate, learn, watch, and participate. That's what I would say.
Man, that's awesome, brother. And again, I truly appreciate you coming on. I appreciate from the bottom of my heart you being, a close friend. Really appreciate you being our first guest on our extended and hopefully goes on for years, Patriot-owned business live streaming podcast.
It will. It's going to get better, Tim, because there's a lot more people opening their eyes up. And hopefully between you and I, we can get some people active, get them more motivated.
That's what we're super excited about, and some things that are coming up for Patriot-owned businesses. If you guys would like to come out and see us and meet Joel this coming Monday on the 24th, we'll be at the Celt in McKinney, Texas. Another great Patriot. He's got a great story. We'll be there at 6 p.m. You want to come out and ask questions of what POB is, what we do, which in case nobody doesn't know, POB stands for Patriot-owned businesses. See what we do, what we're excited about, things we have coming up in the future. February 5th, we will be in Snyder, Texas for the White Buffalo Patriot Roundup. We're super excited to be part of that, and I'll be there speaking. So we have quite a few things coming up that we're really excited about to keep showing everybody that we're out there, that this is a real thing. We have things coming up in other states, which we did make a run for the tornado victims, which everybody that donated for that was awesome. Greatly appreciated, and everybody out there loved it. We're going to start doing some meet and greets in Oklahoma, Arkansas, keep getting the word out to build this even bigger. Some changes coming to the website and everything. So this is, that's one question I'll answer now. If you ask me if this is real, this is 150,000% real. This nothing fake about this. We are 100% on board. We want everybody to join us as Joel has. And again, if you ever want to meet Joel, he comes to everything that we put on, and he's been a huge supporter. Patriot-owned businesses is on Facebook. We're online at patriotownedbusinesses.net. Make sure to check out Joel at Vote for Joel Medina. Oh, I'm sorry. Send an email to votejoelmedina@gmail.com. Check out his website that's been scrolling the whole show. We got about 20 seconds. I just want to thank everybody for watching. Tune in next week. We're going to have another great guest. We have some great guests coming up. And, the best thing I can tell everybody is don't just be an American. Stand up and be an American patriot. On the end of that, I want to thank everybody for watching. Share with your friends, and thank you, Mr. Joel Medina.
God bless, brother.
The difference is made possible by the following small businesses: Real Property Management Focus, the choice to make when you want to feel confident and secure in knowing that your investment is earning the profit it deserves. The Financial Point, your go-to spot for all things finance. Platinum Eagle Insurance, providing the widest range of insurance options to make insurance easy and seamless. WeatherTech General Contracting. We make your home renovation dreams a reality. Lender's Choice Credit Solutions, utilizing our attorney-backed processes and only charging clients if and when results are obtained. This is how we have made the difference for over 10,000 clients and counting. And by Power on Utilities Concierge, your one-stop shop for all of your home's essential services.